There is a new high-rise development that has been bubbling away through the development process through Area Plan Commission and the West Lafayette City Council on Chauncey Hill. It is the Annex. This is across from the old Chauncey Hill Mall, which is not there anymore. There's a high-rise that's currently rising. I believe they have 2 tower cranes on site right now. Really cool to watch that go up. But Chauncey Annex, across the street, the same developer who's developing down on the levee at the corner of State Street and River Road, they are building the Rambler apartment and mixed retail complex down there, want to build a new 15-story mixed-use development, main floor retail, and then 14 stories of apartments above. On the Chauncey Annex, had been making its way through the approval process, through the planning process. This is a planned development. And the city council tapped the brakes a little bit, just in that 2 of the advisory members who sit on the Area Plan Commission sit on the West Lafayette City Council. And that is what the Area Plan Commission is. It is a board that is made up of representatives from municipalities and other executives here in the area. So this plan from Texas-based LV Collective had to go before Area Plan, and the 2 West Lafayette City Council members voted no and expressed some concerns about this project. And it was supposed to be before the West Lafayette City Council at their city council meeting just a week ago. That's always fun. City council meetings, Lafayette and West Lafayette, are most always on the first Monday of the week at the exact same time that we're doing At Lafayette Live. So we're always watching a few things at a time, depending on when the show lands. So the concern there was that these 2 city council members were going to vote no, and were they a harbinger of other things to come from the city council? So the developer asked to pause the approval for a month, to pull that from the agenda. So that's going to go back on the West Lafayette City Council's agenda for approval, I believe, at the beginning of December. That would be December. Let me put my calendar here. I think the next city council meeting is Monday, December. It would be the 1st, I believe. And they are now working on to edit the proposal. So there are going to be 22 units that have indexed rents. So there'll be affordable units tied to them. 22 of the total units. I'm trying to see how many units were total in this development. 290. So a little under 10%, about 8 or so percent of the units would be affordable based. There's actually a process behind how we do that. The royal we, how that is established. The aim is to have studios at $1,268 a month, as opposed to other studios in the village area that go for $2,068 a month. And before we all go crazy and that's crazy and too much for a studio, that's the market price. For better or worse, the owners of these properties have set the prices based on supply and demand, and people are paying them. And when will prices go down? When people stop paying the prices. And that's the reality of the situation. If people did not want to live there and did not want to pay the rents, they wouldn't. For better or worse. Now, does that mean it's good and easy? No, I'm not saying that at all, but definitely saying that these places are renting and that we are still undersupplied in a number of houses and housing, number of beds in the West Lafayette market, in every part of the market, in the single family, in multifamily, in apartments, in student housing, in everything. So we still need this development. Some of the controversy around this particular development was that some people didn't want to see this height of development on this side of State Street. It is directly across from similar developments of the similar height on the other side of the street. Is that important to me? Yeah, my opinion doesn't really matter, does it? Does no more, no less than anybody else's opinion. But the problem is that because of how this planned development works and the fact that it has to go through these steps and processes and get approvals through Area Plan Commission and zoning and all of this, is they can't just go, you know what, instead of 15 stories, we're doing 12 stories. No, they have to go back to the beginning and go through all of the entire approval process again. And for better or worse, that's the law that we have set up here in the Greater Lafayette area and in Indiana and indeed around most of the country. So that's coming. I will definitely keep you updated. We'll have a West Lafayette City Council meeting at the beginning of December. In the past, I would have told you that our development is governmental units are all fairly pro-development. I believe that's still to be the case. But is this a slam dunk? I don't think so anymore. Is it a slam dunk? No, I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think that's the case either. I think we'll have to wait and see what the reasoned opinions of the West Lafayette City Council members have to say, because they do represent their constituents. They, of course, represent their own opinions as well, but there is also law and to follow about when it comes to property ownership and development. And so if you're interested in finding out what happens to that, hit the like and subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the updates here on the Lafayette Reel.